Hello, my name is Brianna Perez, and this is my policy presentation. So, what is my policy concerning? My policy concerns the issue of male adolescent anorexia and how it differs from the common symptoms and experiences associated with female adolescent anorexia. As the latter takes up a majority of current research, most professionals are trained to only catch these specific traits and symptoms. Uh, this inevitably leads to male victims to suffer in silence without the proper help and guidance needed to begin recovery. Given the dangers of anorexia, this cannot be tolerated. In order to properly cover this topic, I will go over these notable differences, the potential risk and slash protective factors to how anorexia develops in adolescent males, and as well covering my personal policy to protect at-risk male adolescents. So, first of all, how does it differ? Male anorexia still has many of the same common symptoms. This includes unwarranted fears over their body image, having a distorted body image with maladaptive coping strategies in order to reach their idealized body. However, some notable differences are the following. The majority of anorexic males fixate on a possibly muscular figure as their idealized body type instead of an extremely thin figure. This affects the way they visualize their distorted body images, as well. Women typically believe themselves to be severely overweight despite their actual figures, while men are more likely to believe themselves to be physically weak or lean, even when they're notably muscular or fit. While women typically will starve themselves in order to lose weight, men will combine excessive exercise alongside a restrictive diet to bolster an athletic figure. Thus, while being dangerously underweight, this isn't as visible compared to female anorexic patients. Anorexic men are also more likely to abuse drugs like steroids and supplements to reach their achieved body. Now, who are most at risk for developing anorexia? Male athletes are significantly higher risk for developing anorexia and other eating disorders like bulimia or binge eating disorder. This is a problem pervasive across a variety of sports, though weight-focused sports increase this risk. These include sports like bodybuilding, wrestling, cycling, and baseball. These groups are also more likely to abuse drugs as well. Though research is still being conducted, some studies have pointed out that Asian, Black, and Hispanic adolescents all have higher rates of disordered eating behaviors. And finally, gay, bisexual, and transgender men have higher rates of anorexia and disordered eating behaviors. Current reports estimate that at least 14% of all male anorexic patients are in the queer community. So, what are some protective slash preventative features? Adolescents that have parents with consistent healthy eating and exercise habits or behaviors allows them to mirror these patterns early on, which prevents the development of unhealthy eating habits later in life. This, of course, includes, simply just eating healthy and doing good exercise, but it also means proper education and like what's a good diet, especially like we said for athletes, like how to eat enough, how not to underfeed yourself, how to understarve yourself, and how to know like when a diet is unhealthy for you, stuff like that. As well as condoning very disordered eating behaviors. Next up is adolescents with proper education on the importance of both healthy eating and the dangers brought on by disordered eating are less likely to show symptoms of anorexia. Finally, routine health screenings for disordered eating and adolescents can catch the early symptoms of eating disorders before they can fully develop. So, let's start with my personal policy now. As mentioned in the last slide, routine health screenings can catch adolescents with unhealthy eating patterns early on, or at least finally give a call for action for those already suffered with a prolonged eating disorder. The National Eating Disorder Association suggests that these screenings be integrated into various settings, such as middle schools, high schools, primary care offices, colleges, employee wellness programs, and so on and so forth. However, these screenings are, as I said earlier, still dominated by female symptoms, experiences, and perspectives. However, there are two developing eating disorder assessment quizzes tailored specifically for men. One is the Eating Disorder Assessment for Men, or EATM, and the other is the Muscularity Oriented Eating Test, or MOET. Both have shown positive results in accurately assessing eating disorder risks in males. The EATM is a 50-item screening that assesses the behavioral and cognitive symptoms that are specific to males with eating disorders. It covers groups of common experiences like weight concerns, body image concerns, disordered eating habits, exercise concerns, and so on. One study conducting research on its early merit concluded that when evaluating 108 confirmed I'm sorry, that's my dog. When evaluating 108 confirmed eating disorder patients, it accurately predicted an eating disorder in men about 81% of the time. Now, the MOAD test is a 15-item screening that specifically targets disordered eating habits in relation to developing a muscular body. The research is still being conducted on its overall effectiveness. The examination study was done twice with total combined patient count of 511 adult men. The study concluded it kept a consistent success rate of 75 to 91%. My personal policy, continuing on, is that we integrate one or both of these tests into routine health screenings that would be done across a large variety of settings, especially for adolescents. My next step would be making an increased effort to implement this test into gyms and sport programs, especially for adolescents in the high-risk sports mentioned earlier. This is a simple yet highly effective policy change. By upgrading these routine health screenings to include male experiences, those at risk or already suffering from an eating disorder would get the support needed. As well, by targeting those most at risk for developing an eating disorder, we can significantly decrease the likelihood of these at risk male adolescents from fully developing anorexia and preventing severe long term damage. Now, these are my sources, as you can see here. If any of you are curious to read more about this, I will include all of these links into the YouTube video so you can click on them and read for yourself. But that's all I have for today. Thank you very much. I hope this was informative, and I hope it was also effective in your opinion. Have a wonderful day.